Welcome to my home, our home. This is a spot where we gather often with students, and often those students become friends and part of our family. So we have so many different events, might be the word, out here. And a year ago, we had an intern named Laura, and she said, "Why don't we have a tea party?" And I was like dress up little girls tea party, because I have 3 girls, so that's what we're thinking. And she's like, no, having students bring tea and snacks from their home country and share how they make it, or just what is the best tea that they love. I was like, that's a great idea, because I love tea, all kinds of tea, and especially the one that Khushi made. So yeah, we're making tea today. My name is Laura. This is my friend Khushi, and she will share a little bit about herself, and then we will get into the process of making the tea.
Hi, so I'm Khushi Bhatt, and I'm from India. I come from the state called Gujarat, which is the same state from where Mahatma Gandhi comes. Now we all know Mahatma Gandhi, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it is the state which is located on the extreme west, and I'm doing PhD in physics department. My research falls into the cross-disciplinary field of nuclear astrophysics. And in India, tea is something very important when anyone, if it is a close friend or just a stranger, is coming to a place for a visit. You first start by offering water, and the second thing you ask for is tea. Well, we usually ask for tea or coffee, but I can guarantee you that 95% of people will tell that they'll prefer tea. And so that is this tea.
The more I've traveled around, the more I found wow, I have been missing out on all sorts of exciting teas. And especially last year, when we had everybody around the island and we're sampling different snacks and teas, it was just literally the world of flavors at the counter, which was fantastic. So what are we doing here today?
So before we go over the tea, I would also like to add the same thing, that yes, that tea party introduced me to a lot of different other teas, because I've had this Indian tea. In India, we make the tea with milk, and with some or the other spice would be present. There are various combinations, but tea is never just, tea leaves and water and milk. That is never the scenario. And when I came to that tea party, I was so amazed. I'm a little bit caffeine sensitive, so if I would have tea when I didn't have enough food, then I might go a little crazy. But yeah, I was very happy to come to that tea party and get myself exposed to different kinds of tea.
But it's definitely a part of the culture, right? I think that tea and coffee is something that has been a very common denominator for so many students. Hey, let's go out for coffee. Well, that's easier. Go out for tea, because that's something that we can share in common. So, all right, let's get to it.
All right, so what ingredients do I have? To start with, I have tea leaves. You can use any brand. In India, we have lots of brands, and this brand is called Vagh Bakri. Vagh means tiger, and Bakri means a goat. And if you put a tiger and a goat together, tiger is definitely gonna kill the goat and eat it out. But they say that this tea is so tasty that it could put enemies together. So that's the brand advertising about, and I like the tea. Okay, this is just brown sugar. Health conscious people, so we use brown sugar, but you can use white sugar also. This is tea masala. It could be a mixture of lot of things like cardamom, cloves, cinnamon, sometimes fennel seeds powder, I can't think of mint, sometimes pepper also. So those kind of things are in this tea masala. Usually if I was at home, I would not be using the ready-made masala. My mom would take a mortar and pestle and just grind it fresh, and it smells so good.
Another reason I need to come.
This is ginger, my favorite ingredient of the tea. And the tea that usually we make at my place in India, I don't make tea here, but we put ginger and mint. So yeah, this basic ingredients, and then I have water. And in India, I would say everybody drinks the tea with milk. So this is all I have, and I have a grater to grate the ginger to put inside the tea before I start making it.
So, quick question on the milk. Would you use cow's milk or goat's milk or?
In India, what we get from store usually is most of the times buffalo milk.
Oh, buffalo milk, really?
Yeah, and I've heard people saying that cow's milk is little heavier to digest. That's what they say. So what I get at my home, and yeah, most of the places, there's a company called Amul, and that's the company which distributes milk to pretty much the whole India, I would say.
Interesting.
Except few some small dairies, but yeah, most of them are buffalo milk. I think that's what I think.
Huh. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's
Start with the tea.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll add some water to start with. And usually what they say is 50% water, 50% milk, but I like to add little more milk. So I'll let the water to boil, and as it does that, at my place it's just, so in my region, well, India has different languages and every different language would call it a little differently. In my language we call it cha.
Cha.
Cha, exactly. So lots of ginger. And then I'll add about this much of masala. Because if masala is more, it is going to make it a little more. Because if the masala is more, you might find like the tea will become hot in taste. You see, like as if you added some chilies to it, or chilies or pepper,
okay.
and that's not something you want.
No.
So yeah, I'm going to add tea leaves. 1 big spoonful should be good enough for 2 cups, but I'm planning to make a little more than 2 cups, so I'm planning to add a little more. Okay, so once it comes to boil,
Yep.
we are ready to add milk. Okay, and now we will let it boil. I'll add
you can really
some more.
Ooh, you can really smell the ginger.
Yeah.
Just smells so fresh.
So we'll let it boil,
Okay.
and once it's ready, we'll see.
Good.
We need to add something more.
So, I'm a campus pastor at Western, and we've had a long-standing ministry, and our big connection is our Thursday lunches, and that's where Khushi and I met, 5 years ago now?
Yeah.
I think you were one of the first students I met, I remember.
Really?
Yeah. And I was just very drawn to you. But yeah, those Thursday lunches, and then we just started meeting for just coffee and chat and all around campus, and then I don't even know how many times we've been out here at this point, just out to the house and getting to know the girls.
Right now it's all the foam, which is actually covering the actual color of the tea. Yeah, but once it starts boiling, you will see that as well. It has started boiling, and at that time I usually like to slow it down very little, and I personally love this moment of the tea leaves. Okay, so now it starts boiling, and I would love to add sugar, lots of sugar, so that it doesn't taste bitter.
Just make sure this doesn't.
It's okay. I'll lift up
I think
a little bit. Okay, it will take some time.
Yeah, it's straining though. It's working.
It's working.
That's working. There it goes. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Talking back to our student lunches where we met, different churches bring these meals, and it most of the time is just basic American cheesy casseroles. But we have found so many of our students are vegetarian. We never serve pork because we have a lot of Muslim students and we want to be respectful there. And those lunches is just a space to like connect, right? Most of the time we see students forming their own little communities and they turn into families, right? Because you're away from home. Like I always know when you would come pre-COVID, like who would be with you and where you would sit and who you'd visit with, and it's just
actually I'm thinking of the time when I first came there. So I was in my apartment and there was a Pakistani guy who tells me that go to this place here on Thursday between 12 and 2 you will get free food, free lunches. And I mean, maybe I was so bounded by the culture or cultural perspective, and I was like, how can I go to free lunches? I mean, how it was so difficult for me to believe somebody is giving this free food for international students, and it was okay, and it's so good to go there and all that. It was not easy for me to come there for the first time, and he was busy, so he could not come with me. I was supposed to go alone, and I felt very weird, but the weirdness ended right at the moment when I entered the door.
Aww.
People were so welcoming. I did not feel that I was seeing people for the first time. You guys were so awesome. Like they would greet you by hugging, and you won't feel that you are you're meeting them for the first time, you are a stranger. And they made so comfortable, so welcoming that I would go pretty much every Thursday. And apart from they being welcoming and all, the best thing as an international student, you come to this country which has different lifestyle, different culture, different weather, different education system, and if you are new to it, you are struggling.
oh yeah.
And getting food, which is, although people say it's basic requirement, but to get it with lots of love, it makes it just beautiful, and that made me feel really being at home. So yeah, it was very beautiful.
Thursdays are, I say, my favorite day of the week because I get to just, again, pre-COVID, just to hug people and sit and visit and learn so much. As much about cultures, but students are also learning about the U.S. and our cultures, right? And we want to have as many students over as possible because so many don't get to go to an American's home. And not that it's anything fancy, it's just to see how people live. Every time I've traveled
it's culturally different.
Absolutely. Every time I've traveled, I've gotten to go into a local's home, and I feel very honored to be welcomed into their space and to learn about their family, and then faith is involved there. So many different cultures, of course, but we get to learn about different religions, and that's something that surprised me how easily students, some talked about that. So much of faith and culture interwoven. Like in our world, my family, like we're faith is strong in our culture. So it was fun to see that unravel as well, and just how quickly students opened up. Like they'd sit down for the first time, and some days I would hear their whole life story that first day, and then others it would take a lot longer, which I fully respect that. I even have dear friends that it's like, oh, I didn't know that about you, and it just took a little longer to figure that part out. It's just fun.
Actually, so like from very young childhood, like since I was in, I guess, first grade or maybe kindergarten, I went to a convent school. So it's a Catholic school, and so I had good exposure about the Christianity, and so I knew that Bible teaches love thy neighbor, and but I have. When I came here and when I attended this lunches, at that time I was not knowing what this campus ministries are and what they do, and but honestly, Laura, by meeting you, like saying something is one thing, and doing and demonstrating it is very more impactful. And I've really learned to love thy neighbor, love every other individual from you.
Perfect.
From what you practice, how you carry yourself, and how you greet and welcome everybody, not just in your house, but wherever you are, you make them feel welcomed in your heart, which makes it so beautiful.
Well, that's something that I was taught growing up, and just my mother lived that.
Thank you for teaching me. But because usually moms do that. But doing that to a complete, I was a stranger to you. And generally in this world, people are so busy with their lives, and you don't need to, why would you care to come to me and talk to me, But you have done that.
Because I'm supposed to. That's
so
what I'm
beautiful.
supposed to do. And for me, it comes very easy. I've been doing it for so long. And loving your neighbor is just something that's just been a part of my everything. Because you're in our country, and now you've been here for so long, this is also your country. And we just absolutely want to make students feel welcome. And I think Western does a pretty good job with that. So with this whole tea time we've done today, I think you've wrapped that up nicely with getting to know your neighbor, and it's as easy as making a cup of tea with them, right? And I know there's some things that we don't agree on, but we can still absolutely be family through all of that. So,
and that was one very very important thing that I experienced being with the people of ministry, with you and other people. And when I came here, it was so beautiful. You provide a very very comfortable platform where I can tell you what my faiths are, you can tell what your faiths are, and by telling it doesn't mean you have to accept what I say, and doesn't mean I have to accept what you say, and vice versa, but being able to respect what the other person has, what other person perceives and what other person's perspective is, makes it very beautiful.
And we've worked very hard, and the previous folks who ran the ministry worked very hard to make that safe space. Because yes, absolutely, people are coming from all sorts of different backgrounds and may not feel safe to share some of that. And again, very honored when people do share their stories with us. So appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out today. I want to do this again.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
You are welcome. Thank you all for hanging out with us today.